100% Cincinnati.
Cincinnati's new music.
95.7 MRC.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Clark Montessori High School here at 3030 Erie Avenue. My name is Patrick Lewis alongside sophomore Joey Olberding. We are ready for the start of the game between Purcell Marian and Clark Montessori High School boys basketball team. Clark coming off a disappointing loss against North College Hill, a 5-point loss last night. Originally was a home game and then turned to an away game. They played it at what was a middle school-like auditorium, a smaller court, but it probably should have led to more points. Did not, however. The Cougars scored 40 in that 5-point loss. Normally they score higher. They're going to try to come back the next day, kind of like almost a baseball team, and redeem themselves.
Yeah.
Joey, let's bring in the broadcast a little bit and talk about what to expect tonight against Purcell Marian.
Well, something that you need to expect is that Clark Montessori is a very, they're more of a small team than Purcell Marian. The thing that Clark has better than Purcell Marian is they have better guards. They're a better team at just shooting the ball as guards, but Purcell Marian is height and they have better forwards. So that's really something to watch out for as we move on in this game.
For sure. The biggest difference, a lot of teams are going to have this biggest difference against Clark this year, is going to be the height advantage. And the biggest advantage that Purcell Marian is going to bring to the table is 6'7" forwards, the senior A.J. Garrett. A.J. Garrett has been a big contributor this year and last year, leading the team in points and scoring a bunch in the playoffs on their way to their defeat against Deer Park in the Division III finals last year. So we are just about to get set. We got about a minute or so left to go until we got the starting lineups. Clark Montessori looking to bounce back with a win. Looking ahead past this game, Clark Montessori needs to get back on the winning streak, because after Purcell Marian, they're going to play CHCA at their place. And CHCA is the leader in their conference, scoring 70 points a game and really rolling over people. So this game is incredibly important before they go away next week for 3 straight away games before the holiday tournament comes up. So, Joey, if you don't have anything to add, we will go right into the starting lineups right now.
Well, the thing is, Purcell Marian, you gotta watch those players, those big players, and for Clark, you gotta watch the guards. I really would take a look at Sean Ely in this one.
The administration of Cincinnati Public Schools would like to welcome everyone to Clark Montessori for tonight's game between the Purcell Marian Cavaliers and your Clark Cougars. We live in a country and enjoy freedoms like no other. In order to honor America and show respect for all servicemen and women who are currently serving and have served our country to defend our rights and freedoms, we ask that you please stand, remove your hats, and sing while we play our national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner. Competition and relations with member schools. The officials assigned to this game have been selected according to the procedures adopted by the OHSAA. Their experience and integrity qualify them for their important part in this friendly interscholastic referees for tonight's game are Justin Malone, Ken Cloud, and Justin Sharkey. And now for the starting lineups. First, for the visitors on the scoreboard, the Purcell Marian Cavaliers. At guard, a 5'10" sophomore, number 25, Dustin Davis. At guard, a 6'1" senior, number 3, Clark Jefferson. At forward, a 6'7" senior, number 5, A.T. Garrett. At guard, a 6'2" senior, number 11, Javante Lyons. And at guard, a 5'10" senior, number 12, Jared Ballbach. Head coach Scott Kerr, assisted by Joe Berta, Carl Jelinek, and Barry Williams. And now the starting lineups for your Clark Cougars. At guard, a 5'9" junior, number 1, Sean Ely. At guard, a 5'7" senior, number 2, Brazil Moore. At guard, a 6'1" senior, number 3, Faison Miles. At forward, a 6'4" senior, number 30, Marlon Lyons. And a man running the show, a 5'9" senior, number 34, Deshaunte Hawkins.
All right, that brings our starting lineups to a conclusion. We're going to have to look for Deshaunte Hawkins to be more of a role player into the Cougars offense. Deshaunte is one of those seniors that we had high expectations for this season and is only scoring 11 points per game, not necessarily having the rebounds he's had last couple of seasons. He's got the hops. He could jump out of this gym and quite honestly can be a player at the next level if he asserts himself. Having trouble with his free throw shooting as the Cougars have been doing all season, but we'll see him playing a big role in if the Cougars are going to have success this season.
Well, you still got to realize, Patrick, he has a huge role on this team.
As we have the tip goes to Faison, and the Cougars will have possession to start this tilt. Big game as we anticipate for tonight. Purcell Marian trying to come off a pretty slow start to the season. 2 losses, and then this will be their 3rd win. Denied pass by Jefferson. Would like to go the other way, but did not deny it enough where it just knocked to another Cougar, so they'll retain possession. Cougars' offense is pretty perimeter-oriented. They like to move the ball a little bit along the perimeter, try to find a shot, and drive to the lane as we have a drive here by Ely. Left hand, no good. Rebound on the other side. Lyons puts it in for the first points of the game.
Lyons right there just reached over the defender and was able to grab it. His sure size is going to be a big part of Clark's game plan tonight. Huge part, in fact.
Good press by Miles Faison to the front court. They finally get past half court and tries to go for the steal. Does not get in. Has an open lane. And that is Davis, Dustin Davis, the sophomore guard who has shown a lot of promise this season. Will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, a hard foul right there on the interior, and that's a bad way to start the game. In the game against Summit, Clark had a lot of fouls in the 4th quarter, but it was pretty clean beforehand. So let's hope that they stay clean throughout the entire thing, and this is just one little blip.
Davis hits the first one. Not many free throw attempts on the year for Davis. That I'm assuming is going to change throughout the entire year if he continues to be in the starting lineup. The second one is pure. Let's see if the Cougars can respond. Marlon Lyons should be playing a big role underneath this time. Couldn't get the ball in. A steal by the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers easily putting in. Brazil Moore can't handle it. Was double teamed right off the bat. Full court press by the Cavaliers. Almost another turnover. Sean Ely holds on, but quickly in transition makes a bucket right down the lane.
That was an incredible move right there. He just leaped over, was able to put the ball in the basket, and it was like a photo finish right there. Can't get better than that. Both these teams play really tough defense. You'll watch that tonight.
Yeah, they broke that press and Ely just went down the lane with no one really back on defense. Cavaliers trying to respond here, a 4-4 game. Throws it out of bounds. We're trying to find somebody in the near corner. That was Jefferson who was holding the point. Garrett yet to touch the ball. Number 5, the 6'7 senior. We'll see a lot from him, I'm sure, throughout this game because, quite honestly, other than Lions, the 6'4", 6'5 Lions, he should have a field day. So, coming up the court, just 2 minutes into this tilt, Faison double team at the top, picks up his dribble, finds a shooting Brazil Moore to the basket and lays it in.
And he just got past the defense right there. Although he's kind of a small guy, Brazil was able to put it in the basket with relative ease. Even though this defense can be tough sometimes, they definitely weren't on that possession.
Driving with his left hand and gets it stolen by Brazil. Brazil finds Ely up the court and lays it in with a almost nice defensive play by Javante Lyons, who touched the back of the backboard.
On that one, Patrick, making the rim shake. Really impressive stuff.
That was Lyons trying to get that block, but Ely did a nice job getting it high off the backboard. And going the other way quickly, we're going to have a run and gun type of game, it feels like, with both of these teams liking to run. So it looked like a ball that went out of bounds will stay with the Cavaliers, who will inbound it underneath the basketball hoop.
Cavaliers number 22, Michael Little.
Jefferson guard by Faison. Get to Davis. Davis shooting inside the lane. Nice kick out and pump fake. Good passing by the Cavaliers and finishing with a pass to A.J. Garrett underneath and drops it in for a layup. 7-6 your score. DeShonte Hawkins going quick, and we'll get a foul called on the Cavaliers, and we'll go to the free throw line.
Well, he was definitely looking for the foul there. He put up a shot that honestly was kind of a crazy shot, especially for how tough these defenders for the Cavaliers are. But he definitely got a hard foul, and he'll definitely take it here at the line now.
Hawkins on the season, as we mentioned, has not done well at the free throw line. Abysmal numbers for the senior. You could tell starting out that the game plan by the head coach, Walt Vickers of the Cougars, is to get back in transition before the Cavaliers can set up their defense, because once they get them in the half court, the Cougars might not have a whole lot of success.
The important thing to realize about this team, and especially DeShonte, is that this team has looked disappointing sometimes, but they're still playing pretty well overall. Sometimes these players take on a different role than normal, and sometimes they don't adapt to it well, but that's just all part of Wally Vickers' game plan.
Shanti on cue misses the first one. The Cougars, up until the game we did against Summit, only had one quarter where they had single digits.
Yeah.
A game against North College Hill, both of their second half quarters were in single digits. They did not finish well against North College Hill. Shanti is pure for the second one. So they have 9 points right now. Score is 9-6 in favor of the Cougars. Full court press for the Cougars. Well, now into the game is Michael Little for the Cavaliers.
Well, this is a really good game from the Cougars so far.
As Little blows by the defense, no one's stopping the ball, and Little has an easy layup on the right side.
Even though it just kind of jinxed it right there, the important thing to note is that the Cougars are able to score against this tough defense.
Lyons has a long three from the far corner, is missed, and rebound pick it up. Trying to find Garrett's in transition, and too hot for him to handle. Goes out of bounds underneath the basket, and they're going to say that's off a Cougar. So the Cavaliers will hold possession as Lyons inbounds it.
Well, it did go off the cheerleader, Patrick. I'm joking. But, yeah, let's see what happens in this possession now.
Lyons looking for Garrett underneath. The bounce pass flies out of bounds. No Cougar touch at that time.
Yeah.
So
No, the cheerleader touch at that time, but now it's Cougar ball. I don't get it. The refs are on something. I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
Sean Ely bringing it up. Lyons far corner. Got a little stuck there. Lyons a good perimeter shooter from the three-point line. DeShonte with a wild shot on the left side. Not a shot you really want. He was guarded well and just kind of threw it up.
It looked like he was fishing for another foul, but really he wasn't.
Lyons from the wing, off the mark, didn't hit anything but the backboard. Came right to Brazil. Brazil looking at Lyons. He had an opportunity to shoot for the layup, pulled it back out. So they'll reset in the half court.
An important part of Wally Vickers' game plan here is to not dribble the ball too much, but you're seeing a lot of dribbling right now.
And a nice swerve and serve by Sean Ely inside the lane.
He faked it in midair as he was moving towards the ground, and it was a clean play, but wow, what an impressive shot off the backboard. Really difficult.
Good defense by Faison on the other side of jump ball because he thought he got a clean strip, which I can't argue too much with Faison right there. He looked confounded, quite honestly.
It was a bit too good of defense. They had to have some sort of, thing. They had to be like, okay, this guy's defense is too good. Let's put a penalty on him. Nah, it's like what they do for LeBron James, No, I'm kidding.
Cavaliers will retain possession as Amir Garrett underneath has a hook shot. Should have probably gone to the basket. No one really tried to attempt to give him any defense. A wild ball's going everywhere on the other side of the court as one Cavalier touched it. Now Amir Garrett going the other way.
There was so much that just happened on those two possessions that I can't even summarize it. It was a bad pass to Ely, which one of the Cavaliers intercepted, tried to throw it back to save it, and went into DeShonte Hawkins' hands, who put it up. It got blocked. Lions got it. He tried to put it in for the dunk, but missed it. And then it went back the Cavs' direction, but they missed the play, and now it went out of bounds. There's a foul, and now they're shooting free throws.
That is quite a sequence. Thank you for breaking that down for us. It was incredibly intense. Yeah. Right. It was just from one possession to the next, and finally Garrett got on the other side somehow and got fouled, shooting at a 64% clip. Misses the first. 11-10 is your score. Plus his free throws, so we have 11-11 is your score with 3:23 to go in this first quarter.
And I'd just like to mention that entire sequence happened in about 5 seconds. That was a whole lot. But now let's see if the Clark Cougars can try to slow things down, but not too much, enough to get some points on the board.
Oh, a nice run and gun by DeShonte Hawkins. He stepped back, thought he was going to shoot, and then went to the rim, and a nice move on the baseline for two.
I think DeShonte heard your comments about him, Patrick. Now he's trying to show you why you're wrong.
Good defense by McLean. Into the game now is DeMonte Everett, who came down with that rebound. He is 6'6", so the two bigs, if you have A.J. Garrett and Lions in at the same time, they got a pretty tall lineup, but they got A.J. Garrett on the bench. Not sure why. That would be a really good lineup. So a good defense by the Cougars, knocking it away, and we have a ball to the Cavaliers as the Cougars were on it as they tried to get it inbounds on the sideline.
Well, the thing is, almost everybody on this Cavaliers team is taller than, the tallest person on the Cavs. I shouldn't say that, but the average height is way different.
Nice pull-up jump shot by Jefferson. Will tie the game at 13, 2:28 to play. Yeah, I'm not sure why they don't have their bigs in at the same time. All three of them are really good players, and they can overwhelm them on the boards. They're just trying to find some people that can stay with our guards. Our guards are extremely fast. As we see it from Brazil Moore, but Moore loses the ball on the way to the hoop, and a turnover by the Cougars.
Yeah, the tallest guy into the game right now is Brazil Moore, who's about 6'2", maybe 6'1". So not very tall, or at least not tall enough to be in this game with such tall players. But we'll see what Clark's game plan is.
Lions trying to drive on Ely and knocked away by Hawkins. Hawkins going the other way. Doesn't have the numbers, but slices through the defense. Misses the layup. Cavaliers coming the other way.
He had gotten some backwards layups in the past, but that one just wasn't good enough.
Jefferson with the assist to Lions, and Lions picks up the easy basket. 13-15 now. A lot of possessions and a lot of points in this first quarter for both teams. Faison trying to drive in with the trees. Kick out now, and a charge is going to be called on DeShonte Hawkins as he drove and then kicked, but when he did, the charge was called, and Hawkins pleading his case.
Yeah, well, the refs aren't going to hear it as soon as they make a call. You never see a ref go like, oh man, no, I was wrong, but that's not the type of thing that's going to happen. But you always want to try. You never really know. This is a sport where anything can happen.
Cavaliers will inbound, 1:25 to go, up 2. Soft full court press by the Cougars. It's like they're playing their matchup defense. Knocked away, loose ball picked up by the Cavaliers. They got numbers back at their end. And Lions finally coming down with a defensive rebound. Again, going the other way, trying to find McLean in transition, throws it over his head.
After the Cavs got blocked by the rim, you thought Clark would be able to do something on the fast break, but something that's already happening a lot in this game is bad passing. And that's not something that you normally see from this Clark team, but yeah,
it's really hard. Both of these teams are trying to do extremely long, three-quarter length passes to get their offense going quick, and those passes are extremely difficult. It's like throwing to a wide receiver with someone on you. You know, you got to have a perfect ball each time, and it's really hard for these varsity players if they don't practice that much. I know the Cougars do. I see them in practice, and they practice those long passes, but it's extremely hard to do that. They're just cleaning up the floor here with some condensation, as the Cavaliers will have it at the Cougar end of the floor to start their possession with 1 minute left to go in this first quarter.
It really shows how even these teams are when they all have to do full court passes in order to even be close to one another.
Timeout called by the head coach Kerr because he wasn't going to get it in on time before the 5-second violation, so a 20-second timeout.
That's a tough defense from Clark. If they were able to force that, that's always good. If you can burn more timeouts, that's better. I mean, not if you're the team that's using the timeouts, but you know what I mean.
Right, and it's interesting to see that sometimes the Cougars will have that more aggressive full court press, but then sometimes they'll have that soft full court press where they get it in and they just try to trap once they hit midcourt. But that way, this time they just tried to go full court press with that aggressiveness and tried and got that timeout, forced that timeout. One thing I don't like looking up the scoreboard, Joey, is that the Cougars have 14 fouls and Purcell only has 1. With our free throw shooting, that might be a good thing because we're making baskets on the other end. But, 14 fouls. We don't want Hawkins, we don't want our guards to get in foul trouble moving into later in the game.
It feels like opposite day because Clark is doing great on offense, but almost kind of sloppy on defense sometimes. Very not like Clark. But, we'll see if that changes. We'll see if they go back into their normal Clark routine or stay this way. Who knows?
Under a minute now, that soft press coverage as we have just one person guarding the ball up the court, no trapping or anything. So in the half court, the Cavaliers will try to score and increase their 2-point advantage.
There's a big mismatch on this quarter, at least there was. Number 5 was on number 35. Brazil Moore had nothing on the guy on number 5. AJ Garrett, nothing.
Yeah, unless Lyons is guarding Garrett, there's going to be a mismatch underneath quite a bit.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned, so we have Everett and Garrett both in the 2 towers are in there, and you can see the Cougars went to a zone now. They're in a 2-3 zone to try to stalwart that middle area. The passing for Purcell is not on point, and they almost gave up an opportunity here. Just under 10 seconds to play. They just kept passing and not getting anything underneath, and the ball goes out of bounds. We have 6 seconds now for the Cavaliers to get a shot up, and this will be the last possession before we get into the second quarter. Lions will inbound it underneath the basket, so it's going to be a quick shot.
Even though there's a height difference, these two teams play just as well on defense.
Garrett gets the ball underneath, and a good swipe by Hawkins, who was guarding a loose ball, and that's how we'll end the first quarter. Garrett had an opportunity there if he kept the ball high, but he brought it down. Not good fundamentals by the big guy, and we'll go into the second quarter. Cougars down 2.
The freshest beats first. 95.7 MRC.
It's 95.7 MRC. Let's go.
Cincinnati's new music.
All right. Patrick Lewis, Joey Olberding here at Clark Montessori High School. Start of the second quarter. Cars will have possession. Tell us what Wally was reiterating to his team, Joey, on that.
Well, just saying have good spacing, play good defense, and that's exactly what you need. Like I said, offense was like the big part of this Clark team throughout the first part of the first quarter. So, yeah, now we'll see how it changes.
Pull-up jump shot by Faison is no good. Terrence McLean, who's now into the game, tried to tip it in, was no good, and the Cavaliers running and gunning here. Looking to penetrate and kick was the message by head coach Wally Vickers during that transition. They want his Cougars to get inside and then kick it out for some threes and then find some openings spacing-wise. Defensively, still doing a good job, but on that possession as Lyons gets the ball and no one could stop him. Big guy underneath scores to increase the lead by 4.
If a guy in high school has a full beard, then you know he's pretty good. That's something I've noticed from broadcasting these games.
Wally Vickers not happy with the start of the second quarter, calls a timeout with their second possession almost immediately after they get past the half court.
That's a smart move because they're down 4 right now, and with the momentum that Purcell Marian has right now, they need to call a timeout if they want to shift the momentum back to them or at least make it even. So this is a very smart coaching decision.
Yeah, it's a good point. We talked a lot about momentum in the Summit game because shifting momentum happened quite a bit here in this stadium, in this auditorium against Summit. And the Cougars controlled that for the most part, but now it's only a 4-point lead, but the Cavaliers can score. We've seen that, and if you get A.J. Garrett scoring and you get their big guy scoring, which they have not done quite yet, then we're going to be in trouble. So it's good to have that good defensive prowess, which they didn't have to start that second quarter. Almost thrown away on the inbounds pass by Faison, but Shanti tracks it down way back underneath the Purcell basket. So Hawkins made the point. Floater inside the lane, no good. Back irons, gets his own rebound. Far corner now. Let's see, he gets his teammates involved. Remember, spacing, drive, penetrate, and kick was head coach's words. A nice 10-footer, short by Lyons, rebound by Garrett.
Yeah, well, rebounding, it's important.
Lyons again, big man underneath. An easy layup. No one's contesting Lyons right now in this second quarter. 4 straight points for him. Shanti tries to answer with a pull-up jump shot from the elbow. No good. Rebound by the Cougars, but then Faison loses it out of bounds.
And you know that Wally Vickers is mad, and I would be too if I were him. Having a timeout just to reset the momentum and then immediately losing it is exactly what you hate to have happen.
Yeah, right now they are down 6, and they need to stop. They need to make sure that they continue their defensive prowess. That's where they get behind in most of these games because of their lack of depth, and their effort kind of goes downhill because of that. It's hard to play that many minutes. Good drive and kick to Lyons underneath. And Marlon Lyons tried to contest that shot, but 6 straight points now for Javante Lyons.
Yeah, when you have both of them on the floor, when you have Javante Lyons and Amir Garrett and A.J. Garrett both on the same floor, not Amir Garrett, he plays for the Reds, on the floor, that's a really dangerous combo, and Clark hates to see that.
Pull-up jump shot from McLean. He's got to make that. He's right on the block, and probably should have used the backboard on that. Rims out. Defensive rebound for the Cavaliers. They're in control of this game right now. Up 21-13. 8-point advantage for the Cavaliers. Manning the point is Daniel Foy. Jefferson trying to drive on Faison with good defense. Foy hits the long 3 from the far wing.
The thing about this Cavaliers team is they're not very good from beyond the arc. They're shooting just 35%, but that one managed to drop. Even though Clark is shooting 7 points better, or 8 points better, 43%. That didn't really seem to matter there.
Yeah, so. You'd see at the start of the second quarter the lack of assertiveness from the Cougars right now. They have not scored a point yet in this second quarter, and the Cavaliers have scored a bunch, up 11. And no one's really moving without the ball. Shanti Hawkins makes a 3. Well-needed 3 by the Cougars.
That's how you get the momentum back right there. He was wide open, and his nice, smooth stroke was able to put it in the basket with ease. Nothing but net right there. And that's a perfect way to transition into a timeout right now if you're Clark. You have the momentum on your side now, and the home crowd on your side too. So that's just great for you.
Yeah, Purcell Marian is right up the street on Madison Road. A lot of people from Purcell coming out there. Visiting side is quite full. Clark is quite full as well to see some students come out on a Saturday. Right before exam week, it's good to see the support from both student bodies and their fans on both sides. Let's recap a little bit what happened in that start of the second quarter here. We're almost halfway through, 4:20 to go in this first half. The Cougars didn't look very aggressive on their offensive end. Usually you see a lot of movement around the perimeter, passing, spacing. During that entire 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes, no one was really moving around the perimeter. Everyone was standing still, kind of one-on-one action. And that's not how you're going to beat a team that has more height and athletic ability than you right now. You can't just rely on one person's athletic ability. You got to use the quickness of all your skill players on the floor.
I think the reason why Clark kind of switched their game plan up just a tiny bit from the first quarter to the second quarter is they were really aggressive on offense to start the first quarter, but they're still down. So I think that they wanted to switch something up, see if it worked, and so far it hasn't, but we'll see if they change it up a little more, tweak it until it works.
Yeah, back in that 2-3 zone, the Cougars are on defense. Trying to get a stop here. It would be big. It looks like they're less comfortable in this zone. They don't practice it too much. A nice kick out to Lions from Garrett and try to get it back to Garrett as stolen by Faison. Faison again throws it out of bounds over Sean Ely's head. That's the second errant ball that just flies.
That's the thing with this Clark team. They keep thinking that half-court passes are like the smartest move, you know. They're thinking if you get a half-court pass to actually work, that means an automatic bucket, but it doesn't. A lot of the times, the smarter game plan is to just keep the ball and then run the point and then slow the game down so that you can figure out a play instead of just working from the fast break, because the fast break doesn't always work, especially against such a tall team like this one.
Cavaliers look at nice block by Marian Lions on A.J. Garrett. A.J. Garrett gets it back and assert himself underneath with a nice basket. Of course, Marian Lions did his duty for one basket. As we're in transition the other way, the Cougars need to get fast because right now they're not winning the half-court battle. Pull up, long two from Sean Ely.
He crossed him over, not crossed him over a ton, but just enough to get about a foot of space and drill the long two-pointer. That was a great shot by Ely, and if you heard the Summit game, you know how much of a fan I am of him. So, yeah.
And Lions now underneath with a nice pass from A.J. Garrett. And against a 2-3 zone, what you need to do is get the ball in the middle, which they have done with Garrett. And they're using a high-low with Lions and kicking it out with Garrett. And Deshaunte Hawkins trying to respond with the other end. Doesn't do so, and a defensive rebound. And the Cavaliers, with a 10-point lead with 2:43 to go in this first half, are in control. Garrett, free throw shot, no good, off the mark, and it looks like a foul will be called on Lions on that defensive side, and Lions will pick up his foul, only the second team foul for the Cavaliers.
Well, A.J. Garrett definitely isn't a shooter. He's a really tall guy, so he's really good at getting rebounds, putting them back, and giving Purcell Marian the ball. But when he has a free throw shot, or at least from the free throw line, whether it's an actual free throw shot or not, it doesn't matter because he's not tailored to actually shoot the ball. He's tailored to make layups, and yeah, I would say that's all he's good for. He can definitely shoot, but that's like the main reason you want to use him in a game, his height.
They have A.J. Garrett and DeMonte Everett listed on their roster, 6'7", 6'6", respectively, but I think Everett has the height advantage over Garrett. Look at him standing in the huddle as we had just a quick timeout by the Cougars. Cougars calling them many timeouts. I'm going to have to figure out how many they're going to have going into the second half. But a 10-point deficit for the Cougars right now, only a 5-point spot for this second quarter, 2:30 to go. We'll see what kind of offense they run. Now the defense for the Cavaliers are in a 1-3-1. See how the Cougars respond. Pull up three from the far wing by Ely, back iron, and up high is Garrett with that rebound.
And you know it's getting bad when Clark players, or any players at all really, it doesn't really depend on like if it's a high school game or anything. If they're trying to force a three-point shot, even though there isn't much space. So you know Clark is getting desperate and they're not really sure what to do.
Ball gets knocked out of bounds in the near quarter. Will stay with the Cavaliers. Yeah, it's almost like two different quarters here from the first to second, as we had a run and gun type of first quarter with a lot of scoring. Now we just really settled it down. Both teams are in zone defenses as Lions is wide open from the corner, misses, rebound by the Cougars, and then a up-court pass is kicked by the Cavaliers and will inbound on the sideline. But both teams are now in the zone and really slowing it down on the defensive end. And we'll see what this how they're going to attack this 1-3-1 with Garrett manning that top spot on the key, trying to get that length, that lanky length he has. You know, he's probably like 6'6", and he's at 6'6", 6'7", but he's probably like 160 soaking wet. He's a really thin guy, and a cross-court pass goes out of bounds, just thrown out of bounds by the Cougars, and the Cavaliers will have possession.
Well, I think part of the reason why Clark has done worse in this quarter is, first of all, they tried to switch up their game plan too much because it didn't work in the first quarter. The other part is that the Cavaliers figured out that second game plan really quickly, way more quickly than the first one. So now Clark is just in a bit of a hole and doesn't really know what to do.
That 2-3 zone is getting picked apart now, getting into the middle and finding the cutters to the basket. And Lyons is having a field day this quarter. That's got to be, I believe, his 10th or 12th points just on layups. And so a 30-18 advantage. 5 points this quarter for the Cougars. This is where they get stuck. Their defense slacks and their offense is not doing anything. As a 1-3-1 right now, the ball kicks by DeMonte Lyons out of bounds. Will retain with the Cougars as Brazil Moore and Terrence McClain come out of the game, and Miles Faison. And I missed the other Cougar. I think it was Steph Curry for the first time coming into the game, trying to add to that height. Hawkins, long three from the opposite wing, and Curry tries to fight for the rebound, but Steph knocks it out of bounds.
Yeah, he had to go way over the other Cavalier in order to even tip it out of bounds. But he'll be important. He's a big guy, so that'll be great for this team. And I'm sure that Clark's a bit desperate right now.
Yeah, but Clark has to do something defensively to stall him because they're in the middle of that zone right near the basket is being exploited. So Steph Curry, the 6'3", the 6'4", junior is going to be in that middle of that 2-3 zone as Lyons is going to be on the block with him as Shanti Hawkins is on the other block. They're in no hurry right now, up 12 to get things going. They're probably just going to play for a final shot here with the clock ticking at 20 seconds to go.
Yeah, he's just, number 25 was just holding the ball for a second, just holding it in his hands and not even moving or, even looking around. Yeah.
Entry pass to the middle is knocked away. Loose ball, unfortunately. It's just a bad bounce. Bad bounce, and Little has a layup. Obviously, the coaches for Clark not happy about that. They were going to go in transition, thought they could get a bucket. Instead of a 12, it's now a 14-point advantage, and we got 3 seconds to go. Clark is going to inbound it.
Yeah.
And that's just an unfortunate bounce. You can't do much about it.
The ball was just knocked into the stands right there after another loose ball, another lost ball, and now they have to go for a shot.
Half-court shot by Hawkins is nowhere near the rim. And a disappointing second quarter for the Cougars with a 5-point spot they put up, and the Cavaliers much more than that.
Yeah.
And they're going to go into the locker room with a 32-18 score, and we'll see how Wally Vickers gets on his team about his defense and possibly moving the ball around. But Joey and I will regroup ourselves and come out at the start of the second half and hopefully give you some better news from the Cougars side.
Yeah.
Student run, student made.
Direct from the MRC, straight from the Music Resource Center.
95.7 MRC.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Clark Montessori High School here in Hyde Park, 3030 Erie Avenue. My name is Patrick Lewis alongside the magnificent sophomore Joey Olberding.
You always come up with something new. It's great.
Well, we got to give you some credit because we love MRC. 95.7 has done a nice job helping us get to where we are here, broadcasting over the radio, hopefully archiving this on our YouTube page where we can come back and see and giving you an opportunity to pursue a dream of broadcasting.
Yeah.
And right now, I'd rather talk about your career in broadcasting than the second quarter for the Cougars because a 5-point spot they put up there, and it's a 32-18 game in favor of the Cavaliers as they inbound and have that possession for the start of the second half. And quite honestly, they're going to have to get a lot of stops here, the Cougars are, to try to get back in this game.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Lyons has 12 for the Cavaliers, and to put that in perspective, the high scorer for the Cavs is Sean Ely, who has a grand total of 6. So it's not looking too good for Clark right now, but let's see if maybe they can rebound coming into the second half.
Yeah, Lyons, who had 10 of his 12 points in the second quarter, has a pull-up jump shot from Foy falling away. That is balled up.
Yeah, he was just covered a ton, but he managed to make it work. You got to give credit to him. That was just a shot that he knew he could make, and he made it. So give credit to him.
16-point advantage now as Ely tries to drive baseline and be aggressive for their first possession. He's going to go to the free throw line.
Even if he didn't get fouled there, that was a bad shot. there were 2 people on him, and he just decided to take it. I mean, it's always good to have confidence in basketball. You never don't want to be confident when you're shooting a basketball, but that's a bit too confident.
Anytime that Sean gets to the free throw line is a good thing because he's an 80% free throw shooter, the best on the team. And right now, having the clock stop and getting points, you're almost thinking we're down 16 points, and we got another half. And they can come back and do this thing as he rattles it in for the first points of the second half for the Cougars. They need to do something, obviously, get stops, make things in transition. They did a nice job of scoring 13 points in the first quarter. They're going to need to do that only on a defensive prowess as well.
Yeah.
Notch in the second one, 20-34, so a 14-point advantage. Defense is going to have to be the main focus for them to get back in this game as they're still in that. Well, actually, they go to that matchup zone again. Lions on Lions, and Marlin wins that battle as he did a nice job defensively against Monte.
Though, through the entire game, Marlin has not won. You can just look at the score.
Quick inbounds pass to the near corner, and another shot made by Jared Baldock. Baldock having 5 quick points for the Cavaliers. 37-20, the largest lead of the game for the Cavaliers at 17.
Pass almost hitting my face, but it didn't. Luckily, because Clark was there. It was great, and I'm not hurt, so I'll always take it.
Bringing the ball up court. That's the second game in a row we've been involved with the action here.
Yeah.
Shanti Hawkins driving baseline floater off the rim, but nice rebound. Put back no good by Marlin. And the loose ball came up with Marlin. It's funny. Shanti now with the 10-footer rattles that in.
There are a few extra steps to get there, but you'll take the basket. DeShanti was wide open for the mid-range jumper, so that's always great. Easy shot, easy make.
Again, wide open as Baldock misses that one. Long rebound to Faison. Good stop. They're going to need more of those. 15-point advantage. Marlin Lions now in transition. Misses it. But good offensive rebound by Brazil Moore. Not sure how he made that in the trees.
He's such a small guy, but the way he rebounds makes it seem like he's a tall guy. That was an amazing rebound right there.
Good press defense by the Cavaliers, making it hard for the Cougars, and a charge violation, the second one by the Cougars in this game as they try to penetrate and kick. They got to be careful doing that because I know Wally wants them to go into the middle and then kick it out for a 3 and then penetrate more, but they really got to be in better control of their bodies.
Just too many fouls right now. This is on pace to have way more fouls than the Summit game, which had a lot of fouls in the fourth quarter, so that's a bad sign for things to come. And the miss and a putback by A.J. Garrett, the tall guy, putting it in, and he was just able to go over the entire defense, and Clark inbounding it, gets it to Brazil Moore. Pass over to DeShanti, mid-range jumper, making it.
Yeah, good response from DeShanti on that. So we're still down quite a bit, but they can't keep trading baskets like that. They got to get stops.
Yeah,
15-point advantage. Nice in there. Marlin Lions got the block on DeMonte, but Garrett again, like these tall trees are right there to get that rebound.
Yeah.
So 17-point advantage again. Trapping near midcourt, getting out of it is Moore. Moore trying to set up the offense. Shanti, top of the key. There's got to be more movement without the ball by the Cougars. The spacing's got to happen more. Faison slicing in the middle, swerving and serving is Miles Faison as he finishes at the rim.
This is like how Clark was playing in the first quarter, just being able to rush past everybody and get the easy layup. That's what they were doing in the first quarter, and that's what they're doing here in the third.
Yeah, they got to use that quickness to get around them and use it for their defensive prowess as they get the ball in the middle for DeMonte Lions, and Lions will be fouled as he goes up for the shot.
Something else also similar to the first quarter is a lot of fouls, and I keep mentioning it, but it's not good.
The line shooting to the low.
Can you tell him it's Miles Faison? As we're going to have an interesting shift change almost. 2 or 3 Cougars coming in. We have Terrence McClain and Steph Curry replacing Sean Ely and Marlin Lions. So a less experienced Cougars on there. As Lions hits both.
And right now, it is still a game that Clark is just not in right now. 17-point disadvantage right now. And it's really tough for them, and it'll be tough to come back, certainly.
Yeah, they have ballooned the lead to 17.
And after plays like that where it almost got stolen, luckily DeShante was able to get it back.
Yeah, ball was tipped in the back court. Shanti Hawkins and the Cougars trying to regroup. The floater, no good. Offensive rebound, Brazil Moore from the near wing for three is good. They're going to need more of those.
Yeah, way more of those, but you can't force it. You don't want to force that after making it due to an open look. You want to look for more open looks, but that doesn't mean that you should shoot every single three. You want to make good shots, but even though you want to make threes and get back into this game, smart shots are the way to go.
Looks like they're back to that 2-3 zone for the Cougars defense. If they're going to do this, they got to put more pressure on the perimeter. Some open threes beginning of the quarter is what happened. Garrett, top of the key, kicks it back out. A lot of good passing by the Cavaliers. Driving and missing the layup is Jefferson. Offensive rebound by Garrett. Needs to go up, and he does. Misses that.
Wow.
He really should be dominating underneath, but he's missing some bunnies in this game. So ball goes out of bounds, and the Cougars will have possession.
It almost doesn't matter how many guys Clark has down low, whether it be 0 or even 5. It just, the sheer mismatch, it doesn't even matter like who's on any of these tall players. It's just a mismatch just by itself.
Right. And talk about mismatches, back to that 1-3-1 defense for the Cavaliers, and they're picking up the Cougars right at midcourt. That top of the key guy is Michael Little. With his length, he's going to try to be that guy up there trying to disrupt passes and disrupt their flow as they do. But that's the third kick ball.
We didn't see any during the Summit game. This is another weird game. It's always a weird game whenever we're broadcasting, it seems, but this one especially.
Yeah, they're extending that defense. You can see the length for the Cavaliers, making it very hard for the Cougars to start doing their offense because the length is put at the top of the key. They're not making them go around the perimeter and pass the perimeter like they want to. Open shot from the corner is Ely, off the mark with that three. DeMonte Lyons with that rebound defensively. 43-29 your score, 2:30 to go in the third quarter. Cavaliers in control of this game. Tip pass to the top by Brazil Moore, and Ely stealing it and then challenged but fouled by Michael Little at the other end. The 6'1 senior blocked the shot but got him with the body.
Yeah, it looked like Javonte Lyons had the ball there, but Ely just managed to poke it out and had the fast break, but didn't work out well for him. But now he's going to the line, and let's see if he can make both of these.
Already 2 for 2 from the line is Sean Ely tonight.
Misses the first. Yeah, it's just unfortunate, especially when you're back by this much, back by 14. You know, this is exactly what you don't want. But hopefully Ely can make the second one, but the momentum is definitely on Purcell Marian's side. And the second one will drop. It took a few rolls to get there, but it managed to work. So let's see how the Cavs manage to do on this possession.
They've cut the lead now to only 13. Cougars need to continue to get stops here with 2:10 to play in the second quarter. Saying their defense a little bit better now towards the three-point shooters. Hawkins with those quick hands gets a steal and going the other way. Cannot finish at the rim. His buddies got his back though, get the rebound, and they'll reset. Shanti Hawkins gets the ball back. 13-footer, no good from the baseline. Defensive rebound. Cavaliers now under 2 minutes to go, have possession.
Even though Clark's missing, they're taking smart shots, but yeah, it's just not working out well for them. They've had pretty bad luck in this game. I keep saying the size mismatch is really crazy.
Timeout by the Cavaliers. What do you think? Do you think the Cougars are already kind of tired? I mean, we talk about the lack of depth. They got about 7 guys on their basketball team, not including the JV guys that could possibly suit up, but the JV's so slim as well, depth-wise, is that they all play 4 quarters. So
I-
you can't go up to the next level, the varsity level, and have them play because there's a quarter limit you have in high school where you can play.
Yeah.
So they're 7 deep, and they're getting tired. Do you think that's maybe a part of the reason?
I think it's part of the reason, but I think the real reason is just the defense that Purcell Marian has. You know, you see Clark playing really good defense, but defense sometimes takes more effort than offense. So that's why you're seeing that Clark defense kind of diminish and the offense go up because that's what they're only thinking about. They're thinking about points because they're not doing well on defense because it takes so much energy out them. They did
That's
well
true.
in the first quarter and they did well to start the third quarter, but they get tired so fast, and yeah.
1:20 left to go in this third quarter. Garrett's doing a nice job getting the ball around 10 feet, driving and making a layup. That's got to be his game. He's able to do that offensively. A.J. Garrett, he's got that height advantage and should be dominating like that all game.
Yeah.
1 minute to go. Ely with the pull-up jump shot. Rattles in from about 13 feet away on the baseline.
The Clark Montessori special. Start from the wing, go in a little, take the mid-range jump shot, make it. That's what always happens. You see it so much in this game, and it works out so well usually for Clark. That's definitely a Clark Montessori shot.
13-point advantage now under a minute. Cavaliers calling out a play. Jeremiah Jackson into the game for the Cavaliers. 6-foot sophomore. No hurry right now as they have the equal amount of lead as they did when they started this half. Poked away, stay with the Cavaliers. Jefferson now coming back into the game. Will replace Little. 20 seconds to play, 13-point advantage. DeMonte Lyons inbounding from the sideline. And Jefferson now hands it off to Lyons. Will set up this offensive possession.
Lyons has been so impressive in this game. He's a really big guard, but you've been seeing just how impressive he can be.
6 seconds to go. Drive, penetrate, and dish, finding an open guy. And that open guy is DeMonte Everett, who misses the bunny but gets fouled with 2 seconds to go.
Another foul, and with 2 seconds to go, you can't do much about this foul. There was a lot of craziness happening, ball popping in the air, and you know who's gonna get it. Purcell Marian managed to get it, but in the jump to get it, a foul.
We need a towel. We need a towel.
They're going to clean off some condensation on the court here.
Yeah, it's really hot in this gym. I was talking with it. After the first half about it, but there are so many people in this gym. Purcell Marian, like you mentioned earlier, isn't very far from Clark. And also the fact that Steph Curry's in the gym. Well, playing for Clark, and he's not
I
that
knew the
Steph
NBA
Curry,
reference was coming. I
but,
knew. We almost got through three-fourths of the game without an NBA reference, but I knew it was coming, Joey.
Well, I mean, there's a player on Clark named Steph Curry. I can't just not mention it, okay, Patrick?
I can't blame you there.
Look, his next game is Monday in Memphis. So he has a bit of a break, so he decided, okay, I'm going to come out to Clark Montessori, relive my high school days, and play for Clark. He hasn't gotten many minutes because it'd be kind of an unfair advantage. So, you know, I get it. Also, he's playing center, which is weird for him.
Well, Everett, the free throw line, misses both. And the rebound putback is no good by Garrett. I believe that's who it was. So we'll end the third frame of this quarter, and quite honestly, I don't know what to say. Like it's they did some really good things, and then they did some really bad things the Cougars have, and it feels like they should be down, but they're not. I mean, obviously they're down by 13, but they should be down more. They should be down by that like 15, 17 mark that they were consistently at. Their defense continues to get stripped because their big guys keep bringing the ball down low.
Yeah.
You're taught as a big guy, if you get the ball at the block or inside the lane near like about that 10 foot or under, you want to keep that ball high and go up and shoot it. Well, they're not, and our small guards are swiping it and trying to get those turnovers. But if they continue to do that, I mean, this would have been a 20-plus point advantage for Purcell because they'd be making more shots instead of getting the steals.
Well, Clark, in a lot of aspects, has gotten unlucky. Sometimes they have gotten lucky, whether it be from a turnover from Purcell Marian. But both of them are acting kind of stupid, especially Clark. We mentioned earlier in the first half, there were a lot of full-court passes that didn't really make a whole lot of sense. And in this quarter, it's just a whole lot of sloppy shots, just sloppy play. It's gotten better as the game's progressed, but it's still notable.
Yeah, you can see what's progressed, too, is the Cavaliers as a team, after losing 2 straight and 2 games with a combined point loss of 7 points, they come out in the previous 2 games against Elder and Fenwick, beating them pretty well, handily in both of those games. And now in the Clark Montessori game tonight, with that 13-point advantage as we start the fourth quarter, and a sloppy turnover by the Cougars. Brazil Moore and Shanti Hawkins not on the same page there as the ball goes out of bounds, and that's not the way you want to start and trying to get back in the game with a 13-point deficit.
Yeah, it's not a good start, and they haven't really started any part of this game well, aside from the very beginning. So it's just ugly. They're not playing good enough defense.
Yeah, a reach-in foul by Sean Ely would be called about 30 feet away from the basket.
Yeah, that's how you know that they're playing a bit too aggressive. Yeah.
Well, you got to do something, right? You're down 13. You got to get more points. You got to get more possessions, and that's the way to do it. That's their game.
Yeah. I mean, what do you do here? It really is just hard to do. And this is how you get so many fouls in the fourth quarter from Clark so often, especially when it's a close game.
Floater inside of the lane by Foy. Rebound by Faison, and Faison trying to dribble through some traffic. Does. Almost a double dribble. It is a double dribble. He called it. Coming up past half court.
You wish it was almost a double dribble, but not this time around.
Well, Faison is telling the official that he lost control of the ball and then picked it back up. I'm sure that's his argument.
Yeah. Well,
1 minute into this fourth quarter, kind of sloppy play by both teams.
Yeah.
A.J. Garrett at the elbow, guarded by 3 Cougars and a whistle.
Wow.
It'll be on the floor, it looks like, and a foul. That's the 5th team foul.
If it were a shooting foul, that would have been an and one at about the free throw line. But luckily it wasn't. It was on the floor. But that just shows sloppy play is existing, but with how much of a difference there is in scoring 23 points right now, you feel like it almost doesn't matter. This quarter doesn't. There's no way Clark can come back. But, I mean, the thing that Clark has to do is they have to improve. They have to know how to beat good teams like this one. And, yeah.
Nice inbounds play to get Garrett an opportunity. And Garrett doesn't convert. Again, bringing that ball down and got it hit. Clark is in transition. Sean Ely with the layup, but doesn't make it happen. And did they just call a charge in transition? They did. Sean Ely, that's an interesting call because the defender was underneath the basket.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they don't have one of those arcs that they do in college and the NBA where you can't get a charge in that, like, designated area. But that's, I mean, in transition, it's very hard. I mean, I didn't see the person that got the charge, the defender. I don't know if he was in, but it's just hard for me to logically like think he was in position.
What happened there, I think, is when Sean Ely was falling to the floor, he bumped into another guy, and I think that was it. And nice shot by number 25 there for Purcell Marian. That is Dustin Davis there with the shot.
Yeah, Davis came down and hit a nice pull-up jump shot to make it a 15-point advantage. Cougars got to do something. They got to get more shots up quicker because I know there's only 6.5 minutes, but they're down by so much. They need to start going into their offense, getting it as the Cavaliers went back to, it looks like maybe a man.
Oh, what was that?
Yeah, they went back to man defense. Steph Curry got the ball underneath. He pump faked.
Jeremiah Jackson tried to jump over Steph Curry, which, I mean, he's Steph Curry, so, you know, it'll be notable. No, I'm kidding. But it was just a really weird play. Yeah, I didn't know what was happening. Definitely a foul there, no matter what.
Yeah, Steph is going to go to the free throw line where he has yet to make an attempt. According to our stats, he's yet to make an attempt. There's some stats, especially from North College Hill game, that haven't been up. So I'm guessing he hasn't made a free throw attempt.
So either Steph can show how he's one of the best shooters of all time, he can have 50%, which is okay, and then 0, which proves that, you know, he's not doing well.
Well, he makes the first. Nice stroke.
Yeah, 100% free throw shooting right now. Definitely something that you'd see Steph Curry do. Okay, I'll stop with the jokes, but yeah, good. Right now, they're down 24, so every shot matters.
Nice stroke. Seth Curry's got a nice stroke from that free throw line.
Yeah.
He's a tall guy, but he looks like he's got a nice stroke. Maybe give him some more offensive opportunities down low. But he's, again, a lanky guy, not much weight on him. We'll see how this plays out. Last 5:53 to go. Trying to get a steal on the baseline. They do. They teamed up on Garrett. Garrett trying to swipe it back and does not. On the sideline, going nice effort by Garrett on the sideline.
And then they teamed up on Miles Faison, got the ball stripped, but then it went out of bounds, so it didn't really matter, even though they tried to recover it. It's just Clark ball again. It's really been something that's happened a lot in this game. A lot of turnovers by Clark, which they get a little lucky on. A lot of the time they don't get lucky on them, but it's just been a lot of turnovers for Clark in general and a lot of bad play.
Yeah, the Cavaliers don't come back to that 1-3-1 zone. And speaking of turnovers are usually indicative of a team not necessarily playing like a team.
Yeah.
And you see that a little bit from the Cougars. They're getting each other's ears. They're not doing the things that the teams really do when they come for a timeout. And people are slacking off, and some people are giving effort. So a lot of frustration on the Cougars bench. And again, like I said, they're only 7 deep, so they're tired, and they're not necessarily wanting to hear it. Their patience is very low because they're down by 13. And not a lot of ball movement, just Faison, and then back to Faison, and then finally Ely trying to penetrate, but 3 Cavaliers met him at the elbow, picks up his dribble. There's not a lot of things happening. Faison now from 3, off the mark. Garrett trying to push it now up to Lyons. It's Lyons and Faison. Lyons will drive on him easily, get down to the block, kicks it back out. Drive, then kick to Lyons. Lyons with a nice layup with the left hand, and he's been deadly underneath there all game.
He's such a big guy. I mean, it's really just hard to defend someone like that.
Pull up for DeShanti near the free throw line is no good. Defensive rebound, you can see now the control the Cavaliers have. One shot and done. That's an interesting game. I didn't know if he wanted to shoot it or not. That was Jefferson who didn't make a decision when he jumped. It looked like he was going to shoot it, but then quickly made a pass that was kind of awkward.
If you ever see like a reverse dunk or like a 360 dunk, that was a 360 pass right there.
Yeah, that's exactly a good interpretation.
Shockingly, it didn't work out very well, but yeah.
Yeah, shockingly, right? 16 fouls for the Cougars, so the next foul will put the Cavaliers in the bonus, which doesn't really help the Cougars out a lot at all, because that'll put them free throw line for more points. Well, Cavaliers taking a timeout here just because that pass looked so bizarre, and they didn't look good offensively, so they're going to take a full timeout here to try to regroup themselves. Up 15, they're not necessarily worried about winning this game per se. They're just we're not like giving too much of the momentum up to actually put them in a bad position. They're a team that scores around 55 points a game. They'll easily hit that mark.
Actually, exactly the same as Clark. Both score 54.3 points a game, but the difference is Clark gives up 45 points a game. Purcell Marian gives up 53, or at least up until this game, where it's been very different in terms of that. And you can really see just how different these teams are in that respect.
Yeah, Purcell Marian will inbound underneath their baskets. Looking to see if they can find Garrett. They do, and no contest whatsoever by Curry underneath. Easy for Garrett.
I mean, what can you do there? You either foul him, risk an and one, or at least the line, or give up an easy layup. It's not an easy decision with a guy that big.
Garrett now at the top of the key at that 1-3-1 zone. Miles Faison doing a nice job getting to the rim and not making it. And unfortunately, that's exactly what the JV squad had problems with in their game against Purcell, is finishing around the rim. Nice look to Lyons underneath. That is Davis with the assist, or a potential assist.
He was going up like he was about to slam that ball down with the highest authority, but of course it's high school, so probably not. But just the way you put the ball up, you're happy that Clark was able to get a foul there, because if that was a dunk, if there already isn't any momentum for Clark, that would have especially been bad.
And DeMonte Lyons will go to the free throw line to shoot 2 on that. But yeah, he went up with some authority and a nice foul by the Cougars to put him there. Again, that puts them in the bonus. Regardless, it was a 2-shot foul anyway. But, man, you just wish that their defense was a little bit better underneath, because quite honestly, I mean, the Cavaliers aren't hurting them quite a bit with their height advantage. They're not using their height as an advantage. They're just not playing good defense underneath there. I mean, I don't care if you're 6'7" or 6'2" at this point. Their defense they're not in good position to make good decisions underneath there.
The biggest issue is that, too, like, you'll see this problem for the upcoming years, too. The JV squad doesn't have any tall guys either.
Yeah, we're going to try to get some height here as Sean Ely responds. Puts it right back down to 17. They just had their largest lead of the game. The Cavaliers did at 19.
There he is.
Ely doing a nice job stepping into. That is number 25, Justin Davis, who was trying to penetrate and swipe the ball away. There's a lot of contact on that.
Yeah. I was surprised there wasn't any fouls or anything, but, you know, I don't know. I'm not a ref. I wasn't there for the play. I can't say anything.
17-point advantage. Ball movement by the Cavaliers is pretty good as they go around the court passing the ball. No
big bump,
uncertainty there. Yeah, Lions got an assist from his buddy and also a pick almost. And he knocked down the long three on the far wing.
Yeah,
so now the largest
largest
lead of the game at 20, and an air ball on the other end by Sean Ely trying to respond, and that just shows how indicative this game is.
And loses the ball and goes straight out of bounds.
Yeah, Terrence McClain trying to do too much there, loses the ball on the way up, and with 3:04 to go, you can definitely see the frustration on the faces. People, hands on their hips, as the defender's trying to do the responsibilities, just so tired.
This always seems to happen, things like this, where Clark is down by a lot, even if they're down by just a bit, and then they just start fouling like they do right there.
Yeah, Terrence McClain trying to strip the ball at midcourt. He got beat and swipes from behind and hits Jefferson on the way. Jefferson, not a good free throw shooter percentage-wise at 39%.
Yeah, Terrence McClain, he usually starts, but he wasn't today. So maybe Wally Vickers will notice that since this team didn't do very well tonight, that maybe he should have him start more. And the free throw is made right there by number 3. That is Clark Jefferson. And he's going to go for another free throw with a little under 3 minutes to go. We'll see if Purcell Marian makes this one. They do not, but the putback is good by number 5. That is A.J. Garrett, and it really is just telling of how this game has gone for Clark's defense and Clark's offense. Sean Ely with the 3, misses, and the rebound by number 13. That is DeMonte Everett.
Yeah, largest lead for the Cavaliers at 23, and asserting their dominance underneath for the Cavaliers. Loose ball picked up by the Cavaliers, but it looks like someone stepped out of bounds, so we'll go with Clark basketball.
Yeah, I mean, you'll take that at this point. I mean, that was on the very other end of the court from where we are, about as far away as you could get. So it's really tough to tell what was happening there, but Clark basketball, you'll take it. Let's see what Miles Faison can do right now. And the shot is bad, and Sean Ely gets it back. He's trying to put it in and misses, and the rebound goes to number 11. That is Lyons, and Lyons is getting double-teamed right here, and it goes out of bounds. Is it Clark ball? Is it Purcell Marian ball? It is Clark ball. The ball went out on Lyons, and another kind of lucky call for Clark right there, but they'll definitely take that at this point.
Yeah, just representative of this game. That was Faison trying to make a shot in the lane. Didn't really happen, and the defensive rebounds have been the story for the Cavaliers in this game.
Terrence McClain with the 3 and misses it. It trailed off the rim for a bit, but Lyons got it back, but then Lyons steals it. So, yeah.
Lions on Lions on Lions on Lions.
Yeah.
Marlin got it, then DeMonte ended up with it. Whoa, did you see that hook?
Whoa, yeah. And Lyons just got past, and he got it back, but a foul on Lyons, and he's down. Is he okay?
Yeah, DeMonte Lyons used that little hook to try to get an advantage on driving the ball, and now he's down on the ground with some injuries. He'll be fine getting up, just trying to walk it off.
If I were Purcell Marian, I would sit him for the rest of the game. There's about 1:30 left, so I mean it's not worth it to have him stay out there. But he has to shoot these free throws. So after that, they might have to pull him. Yeah, it's been a really good game for Devontae Lyons right now. He's just been really good from everywhere. He seems to be everywhere, getting rebounds, shooting threes, just being able to get right past these Clark defenders who have not a very good game tonight. He's had a great game. Yeah, I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, but every high school player with a full beard is good. It's true. Every game I broadcast, I feel like that's true. I mean, I've never seen a player with a full beard who hasn't been good.
Are you gonna mention your James Harden reference?
He doesn't have that big of a beard. He looks more like Lance Stevenson.
Lance Stevenson beard. Got it. Well, I figured beard, Harden, they kind of go hand in hand. And because you're NBA references, I thought that's where you were going to go.
Well, no. Nobody in high school is going to have a beard like James Harden. I think everybody who's listening, everybody who knows a bit about basketball can agree there. Lyons misses both, which is surprising for him, but that might have been because of the injury. Sean Ely on the fast break right now. Passes it to Hawkins, and foul on the, that was a, that's double dribble.
Traveling violation. Yeah, traveling violation on the Cougars, not doing themselves any favors. Down 23 points with 1:27 to go. You can see a lot of the subs coming in now for Purcell.
Exactly as I predicted, they took Lyons out after the tough fall there. And now here we go with the final about minute.
Yeah, and Jeremiah Jackson and Jamari Boyd coming in for Purcell.
And Miles Faison got his hand on the ball and put it right in front of the cheerleaders for Clark. And now Purcell Marian has the ball right back. And they're doing half-court passes again. Number 2 with a 3. Oh! And he hits it like he's J.J. Redick. Daniel Foy with the shot. He was wide open and hit the wide-open 3. Great shot from him.
Yeah, Foy's been deadly from that range all game.
Faison, the Lions, our Lions. Back to Miles Faison. Miles Faison trying to make something. Double teamed right now. Got to Lyons. Lyons with a mid-range jumper, hits it. That was a good shot from him.
Yeah, Marlon Lyons tried to get open quite a bit. Finally got some space and hit a long 2.
Yeah, and now there's a timeout right now by somebody. Or is it a foul?
Foul on Ely.
Foul. I couldn't tell, There's always a lot happening in these games. Yeah, another foul, and because they were in the bonus, it goes to the line. Does number 4, Jamari Boyd. We'll see if he can make free throws. It always happens with these Clark games. You come to the end, and there are a ton of fouls, and that's just true here, too.
Yeah, Boyd, a 6-foot sophomore, doesn't have no free throw attempts on the season according to our stats here. So let's see if that youngster can put one in for the Cavaliers, up 24.
We put too much pressure on him. He missed it. He probably heard us over everything else happening in the stadium. So we'll see. We'll see if he can make this one. Maybe the pressure's been relieved after the first one. No, it hasn't.
It's close though. Almost fell in. Used every part of the rim and backboard.
Give him a few more free throws and he'll get it. I'm sure of it. He has the potential to make a few free throws.
Now under 30 seconds to go, long 3, no good for the Cougars, and again a defensive rebound for the Cavaliers. They'll probably just dribble it out here.
Yeah, that's what I'd expect. There's no reason to continue the offense aside from maybe just getting a little bit, tiny bit more experience for some of the guys out there, but I don't think these guys need it from the way that they've been playing. I think they'll just dribble it out with 5 seconds to play, and they will, and there's no use doing anything else. That's going to be your ball game. Purcell Marian comes to the Clark Montessori, gets the victory, 62-38. And Clark Montessori, what are they going to do after this? Well, you got to regroup and prepare for the next game.
Yeah, after a 24-point loss, the Cougars are not going to get anything easy handed to them in the next game. Next Tuesday, the 18th, they're going at CHCA. CHCA is averaging about 71 points a game. If they thought this offense was tough, scoring 62, they're not going to have any easier competition going to CHCA. And quite honestly, they're going in the opposite direction, losing to North College Hill and only scoring 40 points, scoring only 38 here, going against CHCA, they might be on a 3-game losing streak. But then you look forward to what Purcell Marian's doing. This is their 3rd straight win. They're on the ups going into Baden. Baden, a good team, undefeated is Baden. They're 5-0 in the top of their Central Conference in the GCL co-ed, and it'll be a good test, a litmus test really for Purcell Marian moving forward, because if they're doing a good enough job, and they are against Clark moving the ball, they're going to have to up their game offensively with AJ Garrett, with Lions, with those bigs down low, and really kind of make those fundamentals, keeping the ball high with against good competition. Those kind of shots have to go in for them to win those ball games.
Well, with an initial 2-point disadvantage, or I'm sorry, 2-loss streak for Purcell Marian, they now have 3 straight wins and have all the momentum it seems. While Clark Montessori is kind of dipping in the wrong direction right now. Now they've lost 2 straight, and now they really are not on an easy schedule. So you have to hope that they'll do better come CHCA.
Yeah. The biggest problem for Clark now is because they have exam week. Tuesday they're going up to CHCA, but it doesn't get easier from a student-athlete perspective because, as you know, being a student here at Clark Montessori, very well, is that you're going to have exams all throughout the week. So it gets a little bit easier on Thursday and Friday, as that's when the exams end. But in the middle of the week, as Tuesday is, they're going to have to be able to focus and become student-athletes, maybe get that team atmosphere and team camaraderie back going into the CHCA. Yeah. Well, big thank you to Jack at MRC and Kyle at MRC to help put this broadcast on. We really appreciate their help. And Purcell Marian's now in the MRC game, so we're going to try to do more games with Purcell Marian, more games with Walnut Hills, and hopefully next week, because Clark is at away games, we're going to be doing some Walnut Hills games. So please check us out at the websites for MRC to be pushing out and promoting some of those games at Walnut Hills, I believe on Tuesday and Wednesday next week for the boys and girls basketball games. So for Joey Olberding, my name is Patrick Lewis. We hope to get your attention coming next week for some Walnut Hills games, and continue to follow us here at Clark and Walnut Hills and Purcell Marian for the boys and girls basketball team. Again, the boys looking to regroup, and we will regroup as well for next week. Thank you for listening.
We're always doing something here at 95.7, so always stay tuned, guys, and thank you for listening.